It's a cold day up here at SRU, but don't worry, because you all are just in time for music. For those that are new around here, my name is Justin Muretisch. I'm the current principal second violin of the SRU Symphony Orchestra and the host for Just in Time for Music. For this episode, we're going to take more of a deep dive into the behind the scenes of the orchestra, because you see, not everything is playing the music, showing up to rehearsals, and listening to your conductor. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. There's librarian jobs, and there's people that work with the conductor. And here to give their first-person account of all the behind-the-scenes action is my good friend, Vickie Herrick.
Hey.
How's it going?
I'm quite peachy.
Awesome. So let's get a bit of a background. So let's say major, instrument, where you're from, like what year of school.
So I am a senior music therapy major with a art and psychology minor, concentration in metalsmithing. I am from Uniontown, Ohio, so like an hour and a half west of here. So I am out of state. I think that was it.
Yeah, I think so. And you play tuba?
Oh yeah, I played tuba. Yes, that was my primary instrument for 11 years now.
That's awesome. So when did you start with the tuba?
The summer going into 6th grade, because like 5th year I played the trumpet. 5th grade I played the trumpet, and then they called a bunch of our names. My band directors did, and they're like, "All right, we think you're good enough to switch instruments."
Really?
Yeah. So they're like, "All right, here's the euphonium, here's the French horn, here's the tuba. Pick one to play." So we actually got to like pick which one like we felt was right. I was this close to playing the French horn.
Wow, that's so cool. See, at least for where I'm from over in Plumboro, which is like the west side of PA, I don't know much about the band stuff other than like tuba and euphonium. That was all for high school. Like they really didn't let you like pick like the bigger instruments like that until then.
Yeah, they're classified as color instruments because like at 5th grade it was simplified so that you don't have oboe, you don't have bassoon, you don't have bass clarinet. Those, my high school added in a year later after students had at least a year to kind of learn the music basics.
Interesting, very interesting. Yeah, for us it was just weird because like it was pretty much we had to stick to like a smaller instrument that was more like something that we could handle at that age before they really could let us pick like the bigger instruments and jump into that. Like I know I have friends that like they played one instrument by the time they got to like 7th or 8th grade, they could level up and play like the bass or the tuba and the euphonium and all that.
Obviously it varies from high school to high school. The biggest part is that my high school, like my area, is very supportive of the arts. Mm-hmm. And we had a staff of 4 band directors.
Really?
And then we had 2 orchestra professors, and then I believe 2 or 3 choir teachers like as well. But we had 4 specifically just for the band program.
That's awesome. At least in my district, we only had 1 per like music department, I guess like group. So like we only had 1 band director, we had 1 choir director, and we had 1 orchestra director. But in the last couple years I was there, our orchestra director ended up having to pick up the junior high as well, just because like, I don't know the real reasoning behind it, but I want to say it was just like logistical purposes because we had our elementary orchestra director driving between like 2 different schools.
Yeah, that's kind of how ours are, but there's 4 of them, and like 1 like covers 6th grade, 1 covers 7th.
Nice.
And then, well, actually now the only one that is not in the building is 5th and 6th, and that's in 1 building. So they cover band there and band at our high school, middle school, and then we have other early general music teachers that are on top of just outside of the specifics.
Awesome, awesome, very awesome. Anyways, the reason I brought you on, Vickie here is our, I guess we can call it the flex musician because she does a lot that's behind the scenes, as I had said already, and I thought maybe we could start off by talking about like you being the librarian for the orchestra, but also Dr. Zhang's assistant, I guess is the right way to put it.
I mean, technically the librarian is my only official title, but I do help, I love Dr. Zhang. I help her where, like, she needs it, essentially, so.
Like, do you have any examples of, like, times that you kind of, like, stepped in to, like, help her out?
Because she does teach some classes here at Slippery Rock, So if it's for their helping, like during syllabus week, that's a big week for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes like I'll help get that printed, and then all the librarian things.
And what exactly goes into like being the librarian? Like I know you organize the music, but I'm sure there's probably a list of details maybe this big of like what else really goes on. I only know that like
yeah, you just see me when I hand you the music.
Yeah,
that's the only time they see me. Obviously there's all the get the audition stuff ready or whatever, but then as soon as all the results are released, I have access to the music because I'm a student who auditioned for the longest time. So I can't have early access to the music.
right.
So then after that, I'm like, all right, here's our list, here's a piece, and then the pieces have to be in booklet forms, which our lovely Devaney, our secretary, helps out big time with that in-house.
Mm-hmm.
So we get all the booklets printed, gets all the music printed, and then separated all by parts. So folders, sticky notes, names, just making sure all that goes to the right people. Then on top of that, maintaining our music catalog. So we have, we do have a paper catalog. We're working on kind of digitalizing it right now, but so we have filing cabinets full of music. So we have to make sure all the music we pull out goes back in, the music we buy goes in.
Right.
Make sure it all stays organized. Make sure you guys all give me back your parts. That's a big thing.
I know I always turn in my parts.
Not
I always
everyone. Not naming names, but.
Yeah. Now I know you said there's like filing cabinets and stuff. Like I've noticed there's a bit of a library in Dr. Zhang's office. Is that part of the music catalog, or is that like her own?
Yeah, also she like buys music that she wants to prepare and everything, but when she came in, the filing cabinets that we have were already full.
Really?
So our library is shared with our flute ensemble on campus. Lovely librarians. We share a desk with them, a little office, filing cabinets, the space. But yeah, we don't have enough room for everything. That's the biggest thing. So our next step is using some storage in Dr. Zhang's office to keep a hold of music.
Ah, okay. Would you say there's any like certain like tools that have like really helped you like kind of stay organized with like working as the librarian and helping out Dr. Zhang? Like any sort of like apps online or anything like that?
Not really. Well, how I do it is I make myself a big to-do list. So like, all right, for like these couple chunk of like 3 days, this is what I have to do. I do use sticky notes a lot. I will say I'm more paper-based, so like I can physically see it, because if it's like on my phone most times tucked away, I'll forget about it. If I don't see it, it does not exist. So there'll just be like sticky notes on my office, like on my computer, on our filing cabinet. I'm like, this is where I left off. This is all of your numbers in your folders of who's what. So the sticky note process is probably the biggest thing for me. So like if I'm in here for a few hours, because Dr. John's like, hey, can you do these couple things? Write it down, cross them off. And that's the best way to go about it for me.
Did you say you have your own office here, or is it like a shared?
It is a shared office with the flute ensemble. But so there's 3 student workers who share that.
Nice. How often do the other two kind of like help you with like the orchestra stuff, or are you like solely
It's
the
just
orchestra
me for
librarian?
orchestra. They just do their flute stuff. We kind of split it, like this is like little storage on top for orchestra, this is the storage for flute. We just kind of coexist in the same place. We don't really do anything together.
That makes sense. Now, of course, being the librarian, how did you get put into that position? Like, was there an application?
Yes, so as a broke college kid, I was looking for a job, and how we do that here is, at least on campus jobs, is we have an app called Handshake.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just cruising on that one summer, because it's all online, and I was like, I'm going to look at the music department jobs, because I'm in here all the time. And this is going into Dr. Zhang's first semester. So I have no idea who she was yet.
Okay.
Because she was one of the candidates I didn't see, because my class was also one of the ones that held interviews.
Really, the classes held the interviews?
Well, they got to teach either music theory or music history,
Okay.
and Dr. Zhang chose music history, so she was like the one candidate that I didn't see myself.
Interesting.
But, so I was just looking on Handshake, and orchestra worker popped up. I said, apply. So I filled out the application online, get it sent in. She sent me an email, let's set up a Zoom interview.
Mm-hmm.
So then me and the other candidates, we interviewed, whatever. And then I ended up getting the job, so then that following semester I started.
Awesome. Do you know like how many other people like applied for it? Was it like a highly sought after job that like you were going for? Or
I do not know. I mean, that's for any job.
Yeah.
You can apply, do your best, but you really don't know. I only know of one other person because we're friends. Because it's the music department, we're friends with almost everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
So, other than that, got no clue.
Okay. And then to backtrack a little bit, I know you'd said that like the candidates to be the new orchestra professor got to like teach certain classes. Like, how did all of that work? Because I honestly had no idea like how that whole process worked, like how Dr. Jean ended up here, other than like I thought it was just like an interview and then like the music department pretty much just said, oh yeah, you're on.
Yeah, so it was kind of like a dual interview because they needed to fill the orchestra position and they needed to fill the choir position. So Dr. T and Dr. Zhang started at the same time.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I believe Dr. Cindy as well, but don't count me on that.
Okay.
So, yeah, so they could come in and obviously with the professor, the gaps that the other professors left behind, the old orchestra professor taught history and the old choir professor taught theory. So those are two classes they needed to fill, and I mean, they could have like switched them in the long run, so they offered the candidates to switch either, to like teach either history or theory. But I was in theory 4 at that time. So the candidates came in and they all gave the same presentation on sonata form.
Okay.
We were so sick of sonata form by the end of that semester because we learned it like 5 times.
Okay.
But it was nice because like we could interact and actually like get a feel for the candidates. But since like Dr. Zhang specifically chose like the music history, I wasn't in it at that time, so I didn't know yet.
Right. Now, for those that are not like heavily into music, could you explain what sonata form is? Kind of so they understand like what it is that the candidates were throwing at you.
For all the non-music people, it's for music theory, so it's kind of like the setup formation of a musical piece and like a specific layout.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably about as the non-musical explanation would probably get.
And that works for me, because like I took like high school theory, and some of that like I don't think we really covered much of how like the different forms of a sonata are. We spent most of it on like trying to figure out chords, inversions, like trying to remember like certain pitches by ear and stuff, and like testing like the strength of like how well we could hear the difference between certain pitches and finding the intervals and all that.
That'll be more of like theory 2, 3. And then theory 4, well, theory 3 is like more forms into theory 4. And then theory 4 is all the rules you just learned, time to break them.
Wow. So are you writing a lot of music in the music theory classes up here? Like, are you writing stuff and applying a lot of these rules?
We don't actually write anything. We just like do analysis. But as a music therapy major, we have to take arranging and orchestration. And that is with Dr. Uch, or at least I had it with Dr. Uch. So, and then we do a couple of just like arrangement of pieces, but we do have the opportunity to like create our own music. And then that's also just something I'm doing now for fun, because I went through all my theory classes. I went through arranging orchestration. So, like I said, I also took theory in high school. That was an option for me. So now I just kind of arrange music for myself on the tuba.
Right.
So whether it's duets, whatever, duets, solos, some brass pieces. I mostly do that for myself. And then my applied professor, Philip Van Oos, love him. He also now, I give him my works, and then now he can take it to his younger students, because he teaches a wide range of students' ages, not just at the university. So I gave him a couple of my own arrangements so other kids can like enjoy it, because I do more like popular music.
Right. That's really, really cool. So I know you work a ton behind the scenes, but do you ever actually get to play with the orchestra? Because I know, at least from last semester, I did not see you at the concert. Now, granted, I was more focused on looking at Dr. Jean and watching like what she was playing. But
as you should.
Yeah,
You should look at your conductor.
that is the proper way to do it. But I'm just curious, like, do you ever actually like play in the orchestra concerts?
I don't actually. So, despite me being the librarian, Orchestra Librarian,
Okay.
I actually have not been in Slippery Rock's orchestra.
Really?
Yes. I did do a full orchestra just like for fun in high school. It was like it was a student run thing. But other than that, I mostly did participate in brass band, which is under the conducting of Phil Banus, the tuba professor, and Dr. Michael Holt, the trumpet professor. So
Okay.
I mostly stick on the brass side of things.
Okay, and then you're still sticking with that now, right?
Yes, I am in it this semester.
Now, I think this might have been brought up in the past, but do the therapy majors do like for their last semester, like being like in a clinic, I guess, trying to like, I guess kind of like student teach in a way? Like, how does that work?
So we have clinicals, kind
Okay.
of like a nursing student would, but we start as sophomores. So we have 5 semesters of clinicals, but like 6 because we double up one semester.
Right.
So yeah, we start this 3rd semester of college. Here's a clinical with a client, like you're doing the thing.
Okay.
And then just so each semester, like your client changes, your setting changes. Sometimes we travel, sometimes we're on our on-campus therapy lab, the Sue Shuttleworth clinic. So it's kind of a wide range of options. We can do a wide range of ages. I've worked with ages like 4 through like 80.
Wow.
So it ranges a lot depending. You just kind of get the experience.
Now, I know you said that we have a therapy lab on campus. Is that in Swope as well, or is that?
Yes. So
Wow.
that is personally one of the reasons why I came to Slippery Rock. Because like Ohio, they only have 6 schools for music therapy, and this was like the second closest, both in and out of state for me.
Mm-hmm.
And just the other schools I visited just didn't have that like level of music therapy. And then the history of music therapy, like specifically from Slippery Rock, goes back so far, like, because we are almost 50 years old at this point.
Just the music therapy program.
Just the music therapy department here. We were the first music degree on campus.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
For those of you that didn't see behind the camera, Holden's back there and he raised his arm like this, celebrating. It's quite funny.
Yes, so I do have pride in the music therapy department here, just like on clinic. Yeah, the on-campus clinic, the clients come to us. It's just a whole big range of options that like open up the possibilities.
Yeah. So are you still working your clinicals, or are the clinicals done? Because I know you said you are a senior.
Yes, I will have an extra semester, so I'm not quite done yet. So, but I'm not in any this semester. This semester, like I said, I have an art and psychology minor. So right now I'm focusing a little more on the art side.
Nice. So how are you like balancing all of that and still like getting through day to day? Because I feel like you listed like an art minor and a psychology minor and your major and being the orchestra librarian. Like, how do you balance that all?
I will also say I am president of 2 organizations on campus, as
Holy
long as
crap.
being a librarian. So our brass ensemble that I love being in, I'm in this semester, I'm president of that. And I'm also president of our musical theater society.
What?
So, and then that's completely student run, at least 1 production a semester.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say, it is rough because I also have a second job off campus.
Jeez.
I'm a baker, so that's early mornings at least.
Wow.
Student worker hours, it's very flexible. Dr. Zhang's like, hey, can you do this today? I'm like, yes, I have this 1 hour free. But the biggest time is like focusing on your time allocation.
Mm-hmm.
So like this time I'm gonna do homework, this time I'm gonna spend in the studio. Especially because my main media is metal. I'm a metalsmith,
Right.
to put it simple. And I can't take that home and work like a painting or a drawing, so I have to like, this time in the studio, this time I'm gonna go practice, this time I'm gonna eat. That's a big thing. Music majors don't have a lot of time for that, but it is so important to take care of yourself.
So what would you say is probably like your favorite project you've made in metalsmithing?
Okay, so it was a soldering assignment.
Okay.
So what people don't know, soldering is like little pieces of metal that I heat with a torch, and like it flows, so it joins two pieces of metal together.
Mm-hmm.
And like I have multiple pets at home.
Okay.
I have a cat, love him, beautiful, and then his name is Bud, by the way. And then I also have 2 aquariums, and in those I have betta fish. I love betta fish, I love having them. And then when I was doing this specific assignment, I believe my sophomore year, it was my first semester of metalsmithing. I'm in my 3rd currently.
Okay.
So, and our object was to create a container, and it had a lid.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, what can I do?
Oh, I think I see where this is going.
So because I mean, you can't really like bend the metal. It's like think more geometric.
Okay.
Because you can't like, for the solder to seam, you have to have that flat line for it to flow.
Right.
I made a geometric betta fish. So it was multiple-sided body, 2 cones that were also like the flat sides. I think there's 6 sides total on each.
Whoa.
Those I soldered together, soldered to the body, and then the top side of the main part of the body was connected to the top fin, and that was the lid. So I had to like secure like the inside fixings of that. So the top fin was the lid, and then I had the big flowing tail. I had the side fins down.
Awesome.
And then it was a container,
Okay.
right? It was a fish.
Okay.
We had to make one pierced element. So taking a sheet of metal, putting a hole through it without like cutting from the side.
Okay.
And so I did a little mouth on the fish.
Whoa.
It held fish food. It was a betta fish food holder.
That's awesome. Do you have any pictures of them?
It might take me a second to find, but I might.
Ooh, you'll have to send some later. Maybe we'll see if we can put 1 or 2 of those in here so that the people out there can see.
Because we are talking about my artwork, I am gonna plug myself right now. There is we have an art gallery on campus. We have 2 actually. So we have the Martha Galt Gallery.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That is in Mulvey.
Okay.
And we also have a student gallery, which is in this strain safety building. But in the Martha Galt Gallery currently is a juried expedition show. That means an artist outside the university, knows nothing here, comes in, looks at the pieces submitted, and be like, these are the ones that are going in the show. So it is someone who doesn't know us, what the piece is, how we made it, whatever. It's name, title, media, date we made it. I have 2 pieces in there currently.
That's awesome.
So I have a necklace that I made with bezel making, which is stone setting. So the part of the metal that wraps around the stone, I made that all from scratch. I made the chain from scratch, everything. And then I also have a leaf bracelet.
Okay.
Which is kind of like a 50s inspired hinge bracelet meets Renaissance Festival. So it hinges like this. It's 2 leaves, and then there's like a leaf on a like chain. It pulls through one side. It sits on top, so it doesn't like come apart. And then there's the hinge mechanism that I also made completely from scratch.
That is awesome.
It's soldering again. So it's soldering all these little tiny pieces of like tube together without soldering the whole thing together.
Right. That is really cool. I had no idea that you did any of that. It's like I was just at the art gallery actually earlier in the semester because my exploring music class, we had to go there and just take a look around.
It changes all the time. So it'll be up until April 4th.
Nice. So when did it go up?
March 4th.
Ah, so that explains why I didn't see it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm definitely going to have to make another trip now and go see that.
You should.
Right.
There is a lot of good art in that show.
Awesome. All right, let's kind of segue towards. So I'm sure you see down below the title of this episode is an e-board origin story. Vickie here was the person that created the orchestra board that kind of represents the orchestra and plans all the fun events that we do, like as a group. So you want to kind of talk about what made you want to create the e-board? Like, how did that all happen?
Yes. So when I started, it was the transition from the old orchestra professor to Dr. Zhang now. And because like I've been a part of other clubs, I was on other e-boards, and I'm like, the orchestra doesn't have an e-board. Like, we aren't registered with our SGA, which is a Student Government Association. So
Okay.
It's almost like a big bank on the university. They have a whole big board full of everything, policies. That's what they do. It's the government, student government for the university. So the first step was, let's register, because they have budgets for every single club and organization on campus. And they're like, oh, okay, we like what you're doing. This is how much money you're asking for. We're going to give it to you. So
Okay.
for your events, supplies. There's also rules and restrictions for everything.
Right.
But we can buy music through them. That is the biggest thing. With the brass band currently, we buy music. We just bought new cornet mouthpieces.
That sounds awesome.
We're buying mutes for our trombones. Like, all of these things are possible because we are registered with SGA.
Awesome. That's really cool.
So there's also these forums and stuff we had to figure out online.
Mm-hmm.
I had meetings up in the student center with people up there, and it was just, let's get this rolling. We may not, because we're on the smaller side of an orchestra. Our student sections are a little small, but from when Dr. Zhang started, they're already starting to grow.
Last semester, and I'm hoping that as time goes on, we just keep ramping up and getting more kids.
Yeah, so like another big thing with registering with their Student Government Association is that you have to have an e-board.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have people to fill the roles. Like, I just kind of, my name was just like the name down just so I could get the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
But the truly magical part is that people stepped in, and then it was completely new. We didn't know what we were doing. We kind of really didn't know who we were. But now you guys are like off and running.
Yeah.
And because I'm not there all the time. I don't see it. I'm kind of
Right.
a background person. I'm so incredibly proud of all of you guys.
Thank you.
Just to see you guys created a podcast. You're doing events. Like, that wasn't there.
Yeah.
And now we have obviously the financial benefits, but now we also have the social benefits from
Right,
it.
yeah.
Because the strings, the few that we'd had, like, they didn't know the brass section, they didn't know the percussion, like, it was all like separated. But now there's like organization to put on events, to have some structure,
Yeah.
and bring everyone together more.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you had said that like certain people kind of stepped up to fill those positions. Like, did you guys vote for these people? Who were these people that were on the first e-board?
Yes, so we did vote. Some of them have graduated now. It's just, yeah, we'll step up, we'll get this going, because people did care about the orchestra.
Yeah.
One of them being your now president,
Yes.
Pierce. So he was one of the people who stepped up. He loves the orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to keep it going. He has the heart to, and then I really can't ask for anything more.
Yeah.
I just, people who care, which is what we have.
Yeah, like especially now, like we have a really good group on the e-board now. I think.
I'm so proud of you guys.
Yeah. Like we've been able to do so much, and honestly, like you said, like we started so much new stuff, like including this podcast, which I will let you all in on a little bit of a secret here. Like when we did elections, the platform purely for why I ran was because I wanted to do this, and surprisingly, like I got the votes, and now here we are. And it's just funny to see that like a total shot out of left field is actually like a reality now.
Yeah, the people just want to see that you care.
Yeah.
And obviously now we're reaching people outside of Swope, which is big, because like,
Yeah.
we're small in Swope, and then like we're growing, now we're going outside of Swope, and like other people's, they have social medias that they've like been running and stuff.
Yeah.
And this is something they don't have.
Yeah.
This is an orchestra flex.
Yeah, and it's just funny because like you said, we are reaching a lot more people outside of the, what's it called, slope. And it's funny because some of my neighbors, like, I don't know if you guys can see, but I am wearing our special shirts that we made. But some of my neighbors, like in my dorm building, got shirts. So now if I see them, they point at the shirt if they're wearing it, and I'm like, dude, I'm wearing the shirt. I'm wearing the shirt. And it's like, it's just so funny to see because like, even the smallest thing like that can really just make my day because it shows that like people care. Because like, when I post on my social medias, like saying like, oh, a new episode dropped, like I'll probably get like the same like 10, 15 people to like it and be like, oh, cool, I'll go check it out. And it's just funny to see that like, even the people that don't follow me on social media or like know that this is what I do is like, if they see these, then they know like, hey, the orchestra is doing some really good stuff.
Yeah, you just keep going, you keep pushing, and then you'll start growing eventually. Everyone starts small, so
Absolutely.
only way to go is up.
Yeah. Now I know like you're also technically on the e-board this year. Do you have like a title kind of like a title position? Like are you the?
I'm just the librarian still, so obviously, if I'm needed, I come. Because I am a fairly busy person, and usually I can't come, but I do come when I can.
Yeah.
And then the biggest thing I'm allocating for right now is folders. Because for whoever has been to a concert from the music department here, we have these big, nice, wait, hold on. We have these big, nice black folders that consist of like ensemble names from the university and all of our music, maybe like a little pencil holder. So that is something that I believe every other ensemble has on campus besides us.
I was about to say, guess who doesn't have them?
But that's why like I am pushing so hard to get them, and they are expensive. I will say that. They will probably run around $20 a folder, and yeah, but between SGA, Student Government Association, and just fundraising ourselves on our own, and with our Slippery Rock University Giving Day coming up next week.
Yes, that is a very important thing. You want to tell them about that?
Yes, so every spring semester, one day we have what is called a Giving Day.
It's hard to believe that you've done so much and like it's still getting recognition for it.
Yeah, it's hard for me. And then, funny about recognition. So there's a thing called Rising Star Awards. I was nominated for one. I don't know whether it was for this, for my other clubs, but I believe what you were as well?
Yeah. See, I'll let you in on a secret too. I nominated you.
Stop it!
I did! I totally did! 100%, I swear, I did.
I'm gonna cry!
No.
Well, thank you!
You're welcome. See, I have my suspicions on what I was nominated for because I bet you it probably has something to do with this, but we honestly will not know until, I think the ceremony's April 3rd?
Yeah.
But it's just funny too because like we both got nominated and then Dr. Jean also got nominated.
I didn't know that either!
Might have been my doing too.
No, just the growth that we've had in the not even 2 years yet.
Yeah.
This is Dr. Zhang's 4th semester. Like it's crazy just to see how far we've come.
I think part of it is we just have the right people for the job. It's like we have people that care about the orchestra and we have people that can execute on all sorts of different avenues on how to get to that goal. Like using this show, using all the fundraisers we've done. Like our super popular duck hunt. Like there's TikToks on our TikTok page about the duck hunt. Like our Pie in the Face fundraiser, also on our TikTok page. Like we've done so much that's just like not an ordinary thing for an orchestra to do. And I think part of it is knowing that we can go the extra mile just to do something that like people will remember is what makes us, I guess, more memorable in a way to say that like, hey, we really want to grow and we're willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, like I said before, like earlier, I'm just so proud of this club and what you guys are doing. It's just so nice to see people who care so much, and that I was the person who started it, but it's all in your guys' hands now.
Yeah. Well, we'll be sure not to disappoint. What? Are you serious? This just in. The people from upstairs are saying, okay, so the real orchestra concert's April 29th. And it's not at Swope? Okay, so, from what I'm being told, the real symphony orchestra concert is April 29th, 7:30 p.m., but at Miller Auditorium, because Swope, I believe Swope was sold out at the fall concert. Because when I looked up, like I saw a bunch of people that were just like standing because there weren't enough chairs.
Because I also help with front of house stuff, so I'm willing to give up my seat. I'm still young.
Like you actually helped with our fundraiser that we had going to sell these shirts at the concert as well. But hold on, there's more. A chamber ensemble concert? Really? The people upstairs are also telling me that there's a chamber ensemble concert April 9th at 7:30 p.m. This one's at Swope though. So if you guys want to come see some faces that you might recognize, like myself, are you in any of the chamber ensembles?
I am not this semester.
Well, if you want to see me and some of the other talented members of the orchestra performing in our chamber ensembles concert, it's April 9th, 7:30 at Swope. Anything else? Okay then. That is all recent orchestra news for right now. I believe you also wanted to play something for us, is that correct?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Let's jump right into that.
Alrighty. So today on my E-flat tuba, I'm going to play Never Enough from The Greatest Showman that I have arranged and transposed for tuba. For E-flat tuba specifically. Minus the spit. Happens to the brass players.
Yeah, well, trick of the trade, I guess, right?
Yeah, you get used to it after a bit.
Yeah. Vickie, that was beautiful. Thanks again for coming on and talking about the life of being the flex musician, essentially.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. For those of you watching, we're going to end it here. Thank you all for tuning into this episode. Make sure you like the video, subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes, and remember to stay music cool.